Take over yung isang parte ng 900 hectares. Actually, 4 na hektarya lang yung isang lugar na hindi pa natataniman noong land grab ng Quezon, Bukidnon.
We begin tonight's broadcast with footage of shooting during the campaign of Labor leader and presidential candidate Catriona Guzman in Quezon, Bukidnon. Several shots were fired while his team was visiting the ancestral land of Manobos. De Guzman's partido Lakas ng Masa says no less than 5 people were injured in the incident. Time for the day's biggest headlines. I'm Robbie Alampay. You're watching The Big Story. That incident in Bukidnon happened on contested land with members of the Manobo Pulingayon tribe alleging land grabbing. According to Catriona's running mate Walden Bello, the town's mayor is on the receiving end of that complaint. Faith Del Mundo with The Big Story.
What was supposed to a simple activity with lumad farmers in Bukidnon turned tragic. Presidential candidate Catriona Guzman and senatorial bets Roy Cabonegro and David T. Angelo were in Barangay Butong in Quezon, Bukidnon to amplify the Manobo Pulangion tribe's land grab complaint when out of nowhere, Catriona and his team were safe, but bullets grazed farmers group organizer Nani Abelia and the leader of the Manobo Pulangion tribes. 3 others were also hit. All 5 were immediately brought to the hospital and are now in stable condition.
Yung unang putok nila, yun agad ang tumama doon sa katabi ko na si Nani Abelia. Yun ang nagpatumba kaagad sa kanya. Kaya walang warning shot, dire-diretso at maabot na ng 15 minutes na putukan yon. At doon nga, nung malaman namin, hindi lang si Nani, kundi 4 pa na katutubo ang tinamaan ng bala.
Prior to the incident, there was a consultation between the tribe and Catriona's group. The tribe had been complaining about the land grabbing of their 900-hectare ancestral land.
Papeles ng claim, kompleto papeles ng recognition, yung mga katutubo bilang yun ay kanilang lupa. Mayroong order na i-vacate ng mayor yung lugar dahil yun ay para doon sa mga katutubo. Kompleto dokumento pero walang ginagawa yung ating ahensya ng gobyerno at hindi sila nahihiya na sila ay baliwalay ng isang mayor.
According to Vice Presidential candidate Walden Bello, the corporation headed by Quezon Bukidnon Mayor Pablo Lorenzo III is the alleged land grabber.
Mayor Lorenzo is a close ally of President Duterte, and this is why, despite of papers showing that the Manobos Philippine tribe own the land and are entitled to it, the mayor has refused to vacate the land and continue to hold on to it.
News 5 tried to reach Mayor Lorenzo but to no avail. Cabonegro, on the other hand, vented out his anger to the National Commission on Indigenous People, whom they talked to on Monday but did not show up.
Dahil kayo ang National Commission of Indigenous People. Indigenous people po ang nandoon kanina at wala kayo doon. Ang nandoon ay ibang mga tao at pinagbababarel ang inyong mga constituency. Anong klaseng ahensya ng gobyerno kayo?
Malacanang condemned the incident, urging local authorities to conduct a thorough investigation and prosecute those behind the dastardly act. For News 5, Faith Del Mundo, we are One News.
How are the members of the Manobo Pulangion doing now, and how will this incident affect the campaign of Calyodi? That big question and more from Calyodi's campaign manager and chairman of the Partido Lakas ng Masa, Sunny Melencio. Sunny, welcome po to the big story.
Good evening, Robbie.
Sunny, bago po ang lahat, kumusta po ang mga taong nandun, lalong-lalo na ang mga natamaan?
Safe na naman sila. Ibig sabihin, yung na-attended na sila dun sa hospital. And I think they're already back having a meeting, planning what to do next. Si Calyodi naman, pumunta dun pa sa isang tribo. Diyan sa Bukidnon because they're also meeting. And I think this problem, hindi lang dun dito sa Manobo, Pulangay tribe, kundi dun sa iba pa.
Apa, nabanggit niyo po, this problem. Very briefly, what is this problem about?
Well, this problem is the land grabbing issue of a corporation called the Kiantig Development Corporation, which is being managed by the mayor of the town, the Quezon Bukidnon town, who is si Mayor Pablo Lorenzo, an ally of President Duterte. At siya yung kaya nga binabanggit din kanina ni Kawalden na talagang pinapabakate na kasi natapos na kontrata niyan eh. Pero pagkat yung lupa talaga, that's an ancestral land. Pag sinabi mong ancestral land, matagal na yan, pag-aari nila yan bago pa ang gobyerno, bago pa yung estado, hawak na nila, ang mga ninuno nila yan. So it has to be given to them. Kaya lang, hindi ma-implement. And this, kaya nga yung kanina si Roy Cabonegro, sinasabi niya, what is the National Commission on Indigenous People doing?
Okay.
They should be following it up, giving out the title. Alam mo, walang nagawang titulo na inilabas yung NCIP na yan. So it's becoming like an inutil organization.
Okay.
At kawawa yung ating mga katutubo.
Nabanggit niyo po yung NCIP at saka mga ahensyang kailangan tumingin dito. Gaya po ng sinabi sa report, wala pa po kaming makuha ang panig sa mayor, but we can expect what they will be saying. But I guess the point is, what will it take for there to be a credible investigation on this particular incident?
Yes, because the mayor is involved. So how can you have a credible organization na involved yung LGU? Kaya sinasabi ng Malacanang, pag-aralan, investigate ng local authorities, nandun nga ang pulis, nandun yung military. And they're all beholden to the mayor. So walang kumikilos. So kung gusto talaga ng Malacanang na tumulong dyan, they should do something. Paano nila? Ibig sabihin dahil ba aliado itong si Lorenzo, ahayaan na nila. This is impunity. And if the government is allowing that to happen, walang mangyayari talaga sa buhay natin. Kinakawawa natin yung mga katutubo.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Melencio, Sunny Melencio, Partido Lakas ng Masa Chairman. Some villages in Bukidnon are part of the areas of concern for the maypoles as tagged by the COMELEC and the Philippine National Police. Across the Philippines, at least 105 towns and 15 cities have been recommended to the poll body to be declared as areas of concern. The PNP says it used previous data from the past two elections to determine which areas to flag. According to the PCADG Northern Mindanao, a total of 217 villages have been tagged by the COMELEC and the police as areas of concern in Region 10. Of this number, 72 barangays are under red category, or they're called critical areas. 121 are in orange category, or areas with armed groups that may interrupt the elections. And 24 are in the yellow category, which have suspected poll-related incidents over the past two elections. And these are the other big stories tonight. Presidential candidate Norberto Gonzales apologizes to Vice President Leni Robredo over calls for her to withdraw, but he is still taking a swipe at Robredo for supposedly attracting communists. Other candidates in Sunday's press conference have also distanced themselves from Manila Mayor Isko Moreno's calls for VP Leni to withdraw, including Moreno's own running mate, Vice Presidential candidate Dr. Willie Ong. And Gilas Pilipinas coach Chot Reyes gives his take on Isko Moreno's basketball analogy, calling for Robredo to withdraw. These big stories after the break. Still watching The Big Story, I'm Robbie Alampay. After Senator Ping Lacson admitted surprise over Manila Mayor Isko Moreno's call for Vice President Leni Robredo to exit the presidential race, another candidate in the Easter press conference, Norberto Gonzales, this time apologized to the Vice President. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez has this report.
Presidential bets who staged a joint press con to show their united stand to carry on with the race may not have been so united after all. After Senator Ping Lacson admitted his surprise over Manila Mayor Isko Moreno's call for Vice President Leni Robredo to withdraw, Norberto Gonzales said he also did not see Moreno's declaration coming.
Totally unexpected as far as we are concerned. Ewan ko lang si Isko kung pinlano niya yun. Yun lang ang talagang aming topic. Of course, yung underlying message namin na walang aatras.
In a separate television interview, the former National Security Advisor apologized to the VP and admitted to feeling uncomfortable over Moreno's remarks. But Moreno's camp still insists that Moreno only made the withdrawal call following Gonzales' idea to replace her, as she still trails far behind frontrunner Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Pinipresent nga nila sarili nila as as an alternative. And then Secretary Gonzales said, baka yung number 2, baka hindi kasi siya nakakahabol dahil hindi siya yung dapat pang tapat, so to speak.
While he apologized to Robredo, Gonzales seemingly took a swipe yet again at Robredo, this time for her quote, openness to the communist movement. This is not the first time that Robredo was linked to the Reds, but the OVP has repeatedly shut down such claims.
Yung mainstream na CDP, NPA, NPF, at ipinasok nila ang kanilang mga mass movements dyan. No? Ito naman ay mga nakukuha kong reports. At ito lang ang pinapangambahan ko dyan.
For political pundit Professor Jean Franco, the recent fiasco backfired on the participants' campaigns and also revealed their true intentions.
That press conference fueled that perception that they were Trojan horses for Marcos Jr. You know, that press conference actually manifested that they felt that they no longer matter in this election.
Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
Moreno's own running mate is disagreeing with the Manila mayor's call for Vice President Leni Robredo to withdraw. In a Facebook live post, Vice Presidential aspirant Dr. Willie Ong said every candidate has the right to stay in the race. Doc Willie said the actual purpose of the press conference was just to announce that no one is backing out. Dr. Ong also expressed his views on the Vice President. He said that she is very much qualified for the presidential seat. In order to resolve the issue, Ong said both camps should talk.
Diba? Usap kayo, huwag niyo na kami sali. Usap kayo sa isang lamesa, diba? Yung sila, kasama si VP Len. Yun naman ang the only way. Yun naman ang unity talks nyo eh. Mag-usap-usap. Sila, yun lang ang only way. Oo. Para lang magkaanuhan sila, kumalma din konti yung mga tao.
For the big story in sports, basketball analogies can often be used to explain things better, but that was not the case according to Gilas and TNT head coach Chot Reyes, particularly referring to the presidential candidate Manila Isko Moreno's call and his use of a basketball analogy to compare his call for Vice President Leni Robredo to withdraw her bid. In an interview during a Monday campaign sortie in Surigao, Moreno likened his call for Robredo's withdrawal to a basketball game. Moreno said if the player cannot shoot, then sub him or her out. When asked about whether this was a good move, Coach Reyes said in a tweet that those are the moves that get coaches fired. Just hours later, Reyes also threw his support behind Robredo through a minute-long video. The five-time PBH Coach of the Year said Robredo possesses the puso for the country and the Filipino people. Reyes also called on his fellow Robredo supporters to continue their work on the ground. He said the last couple of weeks before the elections are most crucial. Time for another quick break. When we return, should compliance with health protocols decline by half, the health department is not discounting the possibility of COVID cases in the NCR hitting 60,000 per day by May. And Catriona Gray ay kakamping the 2018 Miss Universe throws her support behind Vice President Leni-Kiko Robredo and Senator Kiko Pangilinan for Vice President. These big stories after the break. still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay. The Health Department is now joining the WHO in flagging risks for a possible surge next month as it sees cases in NCR alone hitting 60,000 per day. JC Cosico has the details.
Should the public continue neglecting health protocols, the World Health Organization warns the Philippines could tally at least 300,000 active COVID-19 cases by mid-May.
If we relax our defenses, then yes, it's possible to get to those numbers.
The Health Department has already noted breaches in basic health protocols, increasing the likelihood of another surge. By next month, the DOH is projecting a daily case of at least 60,000 in Metro Manila should health protocol compliance decline by 50%.
Marami rin dun sa mga dagat na pinupuntahan na talagang punong-puno sila at halos magkakadikit na sila. Dito po nagkakaroon ng chance yung virus para po magpasa-pasa sa bawat isa sa atin.
Cases remain low even amid the barrage of campaign sorties and Holy Week activities. Average case count from April 12 to 18 is at 224, 17% lower than the previous week. Positivity rate is at 1.6%, while ICU and bed utilization rates remain at low risk. But 14 areas in the country are being monitored due to slight increase in cases. These are from regions 1, 2, 3, 4B, Caraga, 8, 11, and CAR.
Nagpositive ang kanilang 1-week growth rate dahil yung iba, from 0 case, nagkaroon ng 2. But it doesn't mean that the increases were significant.
Apart from observing health standards, the DOH urges the public to get vaccinated. To do that, government will once again hold Bayanihan Bakunahan special vaccination days from April 20 to May 20. The focus will be on the areas with low immunization rates like BARM. Meanwhile, the DOH is yet to finalize the schedule of the second booster shot rollout for immunocompromised individuals, senior citizens, and health workers. As of April 18, more than 67 million Filipinos have completed their primary doses, while around 12.7 million have received the booster shots. For News 5, JC Cosico, we are One News.
PLDT has signed a deal to sell more than 5,900 telco towers to 2 tower companies for 77 billion pesos. Subsidiaries Smart Communications and Digital Mobile Philippines signed the deal and purchase agreements for the 5,907 telecom towers and related passive telecom infrastructure to Edotco Group and a subsidiary of EdgePoint. The 2 winning bidders are set to bring better network quality, higher resilience, and faster recovery from typhoons and other natural calamities. Smart also signed a 10-year lease agreement with TowerCos that will also be responsible for providing operations and maintenance services, as well as power to the sites.
And my choice for president is Robredo.
From gray to pink, Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray has officially endorsed Vice President Leni Robredo for president and Kiko for vice president. In her YouTube channel, the beauty queen posted a video titled Pinuno para sa Bayan and cited Robredo's track record in COVID-19 crisis management.
She's the only candidate with experience in all 3 branches of our government: judiciary as a volunteer lawyer, legislative as a congresswoman, and executive as a vice president.
She also said that she considers 5 things in her decision: qualification, history, service, platform, and values. As expected, Kahampinks were delighted with the news as 2 Miss Universe queens are now supporting the vice president. 2015 title holder Pia Wurzbach also endorsed Robredo last week. For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
And that wraps up today's big story. Catch us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250. Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. On behalf of Gretchen Ho, I'm Robbie Alampay. We are One News.